नासीनो सदा सीततानीं नासीद्रजो नो व्योमा परो यत् किमापरीव कुहकस्य शर्मण्डम्भः किमासीत् गहनं गभीरम् न मृत्युरासीदमृतं न तर्हि न रात्र्या अन्नः आसीत् प्रकेतः आनीतपातं स्वधया तदेकं तस्मादान्यन्न परः किञ्चनास तमासीत् तमसा गूढमग्रे प्रकेतं सलिलं सर्वमाहितम् तुच्छेदावपितै यदासीत् तपसस्तन्महिना जायतैकम् कामस्तदग्रे समवर्तताधिमनसो रेक्तः प्रथमं यदासीत् सतो बन्धुमसति निरविन्दन् हृदि प्रतिष्या कवयो मनीषा तिरश्चीनो विततो रश्मिरेषामधस्विदासीदुपरिस्विदासीत् रेतोद्धा आसन्महिमान आसत्स्वधा आवस्तात् प्रयतिः परस्तात् को अद्धा वेद करिह प्रभो चक्रुत आजाताकुत इयं विसृष्टिः अर्वाक्तैवा अस्य विसर्जनेनाथा को वेद यत बभूव इयं विसृष्टिर्यत बभूव यदि वा दधे यदि वा न यो अस्याध्यक्षः परमेव्यो पंसो अंगवेद यदि वा न वेद ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम.
So this hymn, as they call it, is from Nasadiya Sukta, from the Rig Veda. Rig Veda is supposed to be the very ancient, the beginning of creation. And the first beings emerged then, and they were trying to find this concept of what's happened, because creation just happened. They were all in a state of wonder as to what happened, where did they come from. And the beautiful statement in this that touches my heart is, God did not know where the beginning was, for he was not there when the beginning was. The creation began with a stir from the female principle. And that is why in the universe, everything born out of female principle, whether it's humans or animals. And that center, which was like an egg shape, because of the vibratory flow. That was the beginning. And the region of the God, the male principle, started afterwards. First, the beginning, and there was space. First thing that came into existence was space, and then the godly region. And another statement that from this that touches my heart is, the wise looked within to know what is and what is not. So the very ancient beings realized the only way to find out about anything in this universe, to find their origin, they had to look within their hearts to know what is and what is not. So what is this idea of what is and what is not? What is this ability of the human being? And that is called the power of discrimination. In Sanskrit, it is known as Viveka. In pure American Indian English terms, it's called clarity. Wisdom is clear vision, where you know what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do. So our ancestors realized by looking into the heart within, they came to this conclusion. They were able to find the origins that science now is trying to figure out. The space, the Big Bang, the power of the heat, the manifestation of this creation. All this, with an intuitive mind, our ancestors were able to perceive it and put it down as in writing, in scripts of that time. The language of the time was Sanskrit. Now, if some of us would find, we write in our diaries, we write in English or whatever native language we have. So those were the origins of the Vedas and the Upanishads and all that. So from that, what do we learn? We have to learn to look within. And everybody was trying to find a purpose of living life and all that. And in the process, what happened? Degeneration set in, because in that statement there is one thing called the desire set in. The desire is from the external body, the matter world. And when that pull of the desire was there, we went outward to the material manifestation, which was good. We tried to create this external world as we see it now. But we got so pulled by this external manifestation. In the process, something happened. Everything has its reactions. We created impressions. So the first being who, when they came into existence, who had a pure existence, they had the physical body, they did have a soul, a pure soul that came from that ultimate, the same essence of that ultimate. And in the process of coming down, as the energy descended into the human form, some things happened naturally. And as this body was being created, the human being was being created, this descending of this energy created some knots and jerks in the system. And that was our energy field. So when the final product came, we are not just this body, physical body. We have a physical body which is being supported by our field of consciousness, and which in turn is being supported by our pure self, the soul, which is a speck of that ultimate, and which, because it came from the ultimate source, the Big Bang that was created, that Kshob, as scientists, Indian scientists called as Kshob, modern scientists called as Big Bang, we have a speck of that ultimate inside us. It is like our children having our gene. We have the speck of that ultimate, and that is our pure self. But as time went on, as we performed action with this physical body, and in this physical body came with everything. It has the mind, it has our brain, it has all our organs that make it function properly. We started to perform action, and in the process, we created impressions living in the world. And physical body can only absorb physical things. You eat food, the body absorbs and the body grows. If you overeat, the body overgrows. If you don't maintain the body gets sick. If the flow of the blood in the body is not in the right pressure, your heart gets affected, blood pressure. So for the functioning of the body, the organs of the body have to function properly, moderately, in the right doses. So as we lived life, as we collected energy, the negative vibrations, And those vibrations first affect the body and then they affect our consciousness and they get stored in our consciousness. And that's how the so-called karma philosophy came into existence, where all those actions are being accumulated. And our consciousness got clogged. Our consciousness field, we accumulated so many impressions, that field got clogged. This consciousness field is known as subtle body. It is also a body. Physical body, subtle body, the absolute or the soul, that is not a body. That is existence. So this subtle body field, because it is a body, it functions just like the physical body. But its functioning is vibrations, energy. That's how when we descended it, they were all knots in this energy field. And just like how blood is flowing in the physical body, energy is flowing in our energy body. And just like how blood circulation not proper will affect the physical health of the body, the energy circulation in the consciousness field, when it is not going in the right flow and frequency, affects our consciousness field. And our soul is what supports everything. Over a period of time, because we collected so many impressions, we became heavy. Even in the physical world, when we became heavy, we can't walk. Body is heavy for us. It can only bear so much weight. So our consciousness over a period of time became so heavy, there is no flow of energy. So what did the spiritual scientists of those days do? They tried to find a way for human being to live life better. Because as deterioration started, even in family, when things are not going well, elders of the family, they try to have a method and discipline and strictness, and after 10 o'clock you cannot go out. All these are given when things are going bad. Same way the sages of the past did that, and they gave methodologies. What worked for them, they gave. Out of that, the best one was, the recent current one was from sage Patanjali, who gave a way of life for human beings, which included taking care of your body, mind, and spirit. Today, I want to explain few things. One is, we all want to take care of our body, mind, and spirit. We know how to take care of the body, natural knowledge. We know we have to eat right, exercise, sleep. And all our great universities are trying to do so many research on that. One of the researches that I heard from a physician talking about it was done in Harvard, and where he said that there are 3 things that trigger the happiness in the human brain. One is exercise, meditation, and prayer. That is taking care of your body, mind, and spirit. We know how to take care of the body, but the research says when the mind is disturbed, you cannot really take care of the body. That is, when your mind is depressed and sad, can you eat right? Can you exercise? Can you sleep? So they said that even to take care of your body, we have to learn to maintain the mind, because the human deterioration happens so much over eons of times that we forgot to take care of a very important aspect, instrument in our human body, the mind. The mind is that reins that holding the horses and that guides the life. And when that is affected, you cannot take care of the body. And when it comes to the spirit part of it, people have different religious beliefs, different spiritual beliefs, depending on where they're born or who they are following. But one thing is common. We are all looking for that silence and peace and love in our hearts. So whether it's a temple or a church where we go to, when we are trying to tap into the inner silence of our heart, When the mind is disturbed, are you able to tap into this inner silence? No. So even to come to a state of prayer, you have to have a mind that is balanced. Your body needs rest. When your body is tired, you need to rest the body. When your mind is overworked, you need to give it a rest. So it is the senses that have come to a state of imbalance in this period of deterioration. So you need to bring your senses back to balance. And that is bringing the mind to a state of balance. And meditation is that way, the method. That is why sage Patanjali, he gave certain principles where you live a life of discipline. You do things, you don't do certain things. Because Tesla was the one who said it's think in terms of vibration, frequency, and energy. And it is right. The vibrations that we collect from the external world disturb the frequency of our energy body, and we are depleted of energy. And when the frequency of the energy body is depleted, the consciousness field, your function, the consciousness field is what makes the body function properly. The main thing in that consciousness field is your mind. When that is affected, physical world, you cannot live life correctly. You don't have the energy to live life correctly. You're depleted. So this absolute supports the consciousness, and that is where the energy is depleted. So in this process of living right, any action that supports this depletion of energy needs to be removed. That is what is yama and niyama, according to sage Patanjali. Things what we should do, things what we should not do. And the next was, let me see if I can share my screen again so we can. So here it is. Yamas are refining behaviors. Niyama means integrating noble qualities into us. And then the posture, aligning our posture, whether we are living normally or when you are meditating, whether when you are taking care of your body or your mind, the posture has to be aligned. And the next step was aligning your breath inward, watching your breath. Breath is known as life force. When the breathing stops, the heart stops, life stops. So breath and heart are very vital. And the next step that he gave in this process of living right was aligning the senses inward. The senses that are overworked, continuously looking outward, now they are withdrawn to inner. And this is what that first nasadiya sukta we learned. The wise looked within. That means the wise, they moved their senses inward to the center of their being, which is the heart. And the next step, which is known as dharana, means you're aligning this flow towards the center. And in meditation, you are centering your mind in that consciousness, the field of the heart, the field of that consciousness. And that is when mastery of the mind happens. When the mind is able to move into the silence of that heart, to the field of that consciousness, and it rests in there, and it gets absorbed in that light, it acquires the qualities of that center, and it becomes silent, and it moves to a state of absolute balance. Interestingly, if you look at it, the last state, samadhi, means absolute balance. Nowhere here it says God realization. So all the sages, they gave a method to live life because we forgot how to live life as we lost our balance. So what does heartfulness meditation help? When it comes to this breathing pranayama part of this, even our scientific research nowadays says that in yogic times also they did that. They implemented this breathing, consciously breathing. And now we realize that if you close your right nostril and breathe through your left nostril, your parasympathetic nervous system gets affected and you calm down. And you close your right and breathe through your left, your sympathetic nervous system gets affected, you become alert. That is why when people who do yoga, they're doing both left nostril, right nostril breathing. And you see they're relaxed. Because it is not enough that you are just calm. To live in the world, you have to be alert. So that is where this breathing technique came into existence. And this aligning the senses is the neuroscience. According to neuroscience, this fifth step of pratyahara, in a given week, if you are able to just be silent for a 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes there, the frontal brain regenerates new cells. And the frontal brain is all about balance, emotional stability, and creativity. And creativity is your ability to respond in the now spontaneously. Creativity is the ability of this immense awareness of what is happening. That is why Newton was able to discover and Madame Curie was able to discover, because this ability of pratyahara, the senses were so refined, they were able to perceive things, awareness. So when we completely went outward, when the senses went outward, they were tired. They lost that ability of balance, emotional stability, creativity, ability of awareness, which let them perceive the consciousness. And instead, that negative vibrations clogged the consciousness flow, where the free flow was not happening, and we started to fall apart. And that is why the sages prescribed the next step to solve this was dharana. Realign that flow of the thought that is going. Thought is a flow, it's a vibratory flow. It is going outward to the matter. Because we have three fields: matter, subtle body energy field, consciousness field, and this absolute. Matter, energy, consciousness, absolute. So this thought flow was going just to the matter. So they had to give a process to divert this thought flow towards the inner absolute. And that was not easy, because by then we already have formed habits so powerfully, we can only think about outer things. We forgot our mother, the source, the ultimate presence that is within ourselves, to the extent that we even wonder, is there something? So this is where they taught us the method of meditation. A method or a path is needed to finish the journey. And here comes the role of the guide, who can show us the path, the method. Because our consciousness is so clogged, like we have fallen so much into the ditch, we are unable to get out of that ditch by ourselves. Then what do? You call, you get the help of somebody, external force, they pull you up when you are in a ditch. That is the role of a guide, spiritual guide. What is the role of a physics professor? He teaches physics to you. What is the role of a chemistry professor? He teaches chemistry to you. So also, the role of a spiritual guide, whom they gave the name of a master or a guru or whatever, is to pull you from where the lowest consciousness that you are stuck in, to move you to this highest consciousness field. You're stuck in the matter field. You're unable to get out. The mind is disturbed. The mind is clogged. And now the guide comes. And his consciousness is pure and our consciousness is clogged. So the vibration from his consciousness starts to support our absolute, our soul, by giving it. Matter is supported by consciousness. Consciousness is supported by absolute, the soul. This absolute soul needs energy. We come with certain potency, and our potency is not enough to clean our consciousness to perform and live right. So what the guide does is he gives you that power, the transmission from his consciousness. He transmits a vibration. So it's like now you are energized. And with this energized field, now your consciousness field is being cleansed. All the impurities are being released. And the moment in a room when you remove all the clog, what happens? There is space. So in your consciousness field, when this help of the transmission or the vibration from the guide's consciousness touches your absolute soul, and now your soul starts to emanate this light onto the consciousness field, now clarity starts to happen. And then you start to perform well. And another analogy I like to bring into this would be, let's see, about Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, the sacred text of India, it was supposed to be given at the 0 hour of the war. And that was not given for God realization either. The reason Lord Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita was his disciple, whose was a warrior, whose duty was to destroy the evil and fight the war. He was falling apart when he looked at the army, seeing all his relatives and friends and family there. And he's saying, is it worth fighting this war? And he falls apart. So what happened to his disciple Arjuna at that moment of crisis of life? He lost balance. When he lost his balance, he lost his peace. What am I doing this? When he lost his peace, he lost his emotional stability. The frontal brain was disturbed. He lost his emotional stability. He lost his creative ability of all his knowledge and his capability of fighting the war. And when that happened, fear entered in him. And when fear entered, he lost his wisdom. He lost his clarity of life, the purpose that he was there on the war field. So what did Lord Krishna do? He transmitted, because the whole Bhagavad Gita at the 0 hour of the war could not have been for 100 hours. It was probably like 7 minutes. What did Lord Krishna do at that time? The master, the guide, the guru. He transmitted a vibration, which is the life force, his own life force. It is like when somebody is dying, you give blood transfusion and the person gets up. Same way, when the consciousness is dying for somebody, the guide of the caliber who has that blood, which is the vibration of the ultimate flowing in him, he transmitted that vibration to Arjuna. So Arjuna regained his balance. He became peaceful. The moment he became peaceful, he became emotionally stable. The moment he became emotionally stable, he was overcoming the fear. And then his senses came to a state of balance where he had clear wisdom, steadfast wisdom. And then he realized, no, a warrior like me have to do my duty to destroy the evil. Yes, these are my relatives. Everybody is my relative because we all have the same origin. But these beings are destroying the divine creation by evil acts. My duty is to remove this now. And so he gets up and performs his action, Swadharma as it's called, his duty. So the essence of the Gita by revered Daji is skill in action. Arjuna's skill in action. How do you get into that skill in action? You have to repeat that action. His skill was his fighting, his archery. His skill was his steadiness of his mind. For an archer, the mind is the most powerful instrument that it has to be studied that with one look he can hit the target. Skill in action. And that applies not just in archery, in living life in every field. And Bhagavad Gita was for struggle for self mastery. And at the end, it is selfless service for humanity. So, what happened was these are the energy fields that are in our consciousness. In our consciousness, there is the heart region, the mind region, and the central region. All these are all energy fields, vibratory fields. Like how our body is made up of the elements, our energy field is made up of elements. And a lot of times when the doctors say drink water, why? Your body is made up of 70% of water. If you are depleted, you cannot function. If water is depleted in your body, your mind won't function because the water point is connected with the mind. So these are the points that get affected when we live life completely going outward, collecting negative vibrations. And what that negative vibrations, for Arjuna, it was the war. For us, it is family issues, job issues, children's issues, health issues. So many of those vibrations affect us. And when this point of balance of the earth is disturbed, the earth element is disturbed on us, like a domino effect, every other energy field gets affected inside our consciousness and we fall apart. That is why we meditate. In meditation, you are strengthening your mind. So, whatever vibrations that enter into your field, you are able to withstand them and you're not falling apart. The first point, you are grounded by the earth. You need to remain balanced. And meditation helps you with that. That is why we meditate. In the process, why people call God realization and all that is, your awareness increases to such an extent, you realize it is not you, there is something that exists. And that something, which is the origin, exists in every speck of this universe. But we are not aware of it now. We are only looking at the cars and the houses and the children and the problems and negativity going on in the world. We are unable to perceive that presence which began eons and eons time ago. That clarity happens so because our awareness increases. So what is this balancing? The first point, when you are working out in a physical body, what happens to you? Your muscle gets strengthened. So when somebody throws 5 pounds, you're able to hold it. So also when you are able to meditate, which our mind is so disturbed out of bad habits, we are unable to meditate. That mind, with the help of a being's, higher being's consciousness, that mind is diverted to the center of your being, and you come to centeredness and settledness. Your first point is balanced, and thereby the flow of the energy is normal. So here, let me show you the next slide, which gives us the idea of how this flow is. No. So when this flow is happening, body is healthy, natural. So this is how prana is also, the life force is flowing in the consciousness field. And the actions and the thoughts and the habits we have created, those negative energies, they block these fields which are known as chakras or knots. So when this is blocked, the flow is not there. And the body, just like how when the blood flow is not there proper, or the frequency of the blood flow is low blood pressure, high blood pressure, how the body gets affected, our consciousness get affected. And when the consciousness gets affected, just like how Arjuna fell apart, we also fall apart. We go into depression, we go into anger, we go into fear mode, we don't have clarity, we are always arguing, we are struggling with ego. All this happens when this flow is not proper. And this is the proper flow. Just like how blood is flowing, prana is flowing, you are thinking clearly. So you are able to live life in a state of balance, and you are able to arrive at that absolute state of balance. So this is how this is happening inside our energy field. Now, if you realize the importance of this, you're not realizing the importance of maintaining this energy field which is within ourselves. We're only focused on the physical body, and we forgot to take care of this consciousness field, which is our energy body. And if you take care of that, mastery happens. Because we notice all of our, in our work life and all that, we get irritated, we get angry, even in our family life, we lose patience, we become insecure, so we scheme things. All this is because we don't have mastery over ourselves. What is that mastery? The ability to pause, the ability to be balanced, the ability to be peaceful under urgency also, the ability to remain emotionally stable, not to succumb to anger. Anger is good for our self-transformation, but when it bursts out, it burns everything, like the fire. Fire is good for cooking, for food, but that fire, when it goes outraged, it can burn everything. So all the elements inside ourselves, when they are in balance, they help us in the process of evolution, purifying our consciousness. And we are continuously being recycled. And unfortunately, where our focus is, the physical body and the physical matter, it doesn't go with us. The body deteriorates. The body is burnt into ashes and gone back to the earth. We either merge it in the earth or merge it in the water. What goes for recycling process? Your consciousness along with your pure self. So depending on the weight of this consciousness, we enter into different dimensions or we come back. This is where we are collecting our baggage of karma, as they are called. So by meditation, you are getting rid of this baggage. So we eventually know we are all going to leave. What is born dies. But we forget. We're caught up in an illusion because we are not aware. This is where the importance of the heartfulness method of meditation, where you meditate every day to bring the mind to the heart's silence and bring it to that state of steadiness. And we all know how our heartfulness guide Taji has given the explanation for this, where he describes the mind like a pond which is all disturbed by the external world activities. This mind is disturbed. In meditation, you just let it be. And when you let it be, what happens? Water is still, settles. So you're able to see. If there is impurities, you're able to see. You can't see the bottom. But if you remove the impurities, you're able to see the bottom. So this mind, first, our consciousness needs to get rid of the impurities. And the mind needs to come to a stillness, which is a part of that consciousness. And when it comes to stillness, it's able to perceive clearly the bottom. What is the bottom? Ourself, the absolute, the soul. We're able to perceive it. The moment we perceive it inside ourselves, we're able to perceive it everywhere. Awareness. And we are balanced. And this help is given by the flow, the pure flow of the consciousness of the guide, whoever is guiding you. From their consciousness, this flow is happening, and this mind, the thought is going out to the earth matter. He is diverting it into the soul, which happens to be the second point. With his force, he's diverting it. So now you are able to think about going inward. And so we see now how important it is to take care of this consciousness field. And for that, the steps are meditation, evening cleansing technique, and bedtime prayer. These are the three practices we have. In the cleansing, we are utilizing our own will, the mind, closing all the senses, resting the senses. And you are making an intention that whatever vibrations I collected today, they're leaving from the back as smoke, from the back of my spine. Because there are pores on the spine that can release. The two things the heartfulness method and the guide can help you in the very first session is divert this thought flow going out into the earth plane through a particular point in the first point, which is known as the field of A. He diverts that part of that flow into the soul point, the second point. So now you start to think about, oh, there is something inside me I'm feeling. So we are moving from thinking to feeling. And this aspect of thinking to feeling in meditation is very, very important for us to submit a prayer. A lot of times people ask, I'm praying and nothing is happening. Because prayer is a vibration. Prayer is thought. In the matter world, it is physical. It is a matter. It is not vibration. The source responds to the feeling. That's his language. Like, when you're talking to an alien, you have to speak it in its language. That's why all this scientific research is when some alien ship happens in our movies and, they're trying to communicate. They bring an interpreter who can communicate. This communication is important. Prayer line needs to be communicated with a feeling. So that is what bedtime prayer, importance of bedtime prayer. Babuji was a very great spiritual scientist. All these Vedas and the languages and Bhagavad Gitas and the Yoga Sutras, everything, he just concised it and said, you just follow these steps, you will reach. It is like a computer illiterate like me. All these kids that just say, Auntie, you click this, and then you start, and then you record. Bingo. I, who don't know anything, am able to manage a system. That is how Babuji did that. So morning meditation at the same time. Because why at the same time? Because here you are making a connection of yourself to the absolute. So it is your date. And if every day somebody is coming to my door at 6 a.m., subconsciously after a week, I know somebody is at my door at 6 a.m. So also the absolute field starts to resonate. So the first step, if you really want to see true progress, would be to meditate every day at the same time. Even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. And you get up, sit down, go into the heart, submit yourself that here I am. And even the prayer that Babaji designed, a prayer is a call of your heart. Prayer is fixing your goal, a purpose for your life, because we've been wandering without any purpose, just taking care of the matter, the physical world, the physical body. What is the purpose of life? So here you are reminding yourself that coming to this absolute state, experiencing this absolute, at least to a speck, is my goal. What is putting bar to me? The desire from this field of the matter is pulling me down. That is a weight, and that weight is on my mind, so it is continuously going there instead of going towards the lightness. So you're asking for help. Only you can help me move my thought flow into the ultimate, the absolute. So, what helps this thought flow to go to the absolute? Pranahuti, transmission, which emanates from the guide's consciousness. So, you're almost like turning the switch on in the morning by saying that prayer. When you turn the switch on, the light comes. The current is there from the powerhouse. You have all the bulbs. But if you don't turn that switch on, the light won't come on. So that call in the morning at 6 a.m., the light turns on. And now the prana starts to flow in your consciousness field. And now you arrive after that 20 minutes. Anything I'm telling you, without a 20-minute prayer, a 20-minute meditation, you don't arrive at those states. We try to encourage you saying 5 minutes, but 20 minutes. Why? You put rice in the cooker. It takes 20 minutes for the rice to cook. So also it takes 20 minutes for a prayer from the heart, the vibration to touch. So you have to sit with that prayer. And evening cleaning, you're helping yourself, you're releasing. Like you eat food continuously. And you don't go to the toilet, what happens to you? You are clogged. You have to be taken to emergency. That's suffocating. It is an intense suffering. That is what's happening to our consciousness field when you don't release every day. It gets so clogged, it has to come out as a major disease or a major suffering in our life. We're wondering, why is this happening? Why is this happening? But it is the purging process of the consciousness field. It can't take it. There's no more room. You have to throw it out. If you don't throw it out, somebody else will throw it out for you. Sufferings. So, evening cleaning, we are helping ourselves. It is like a bonus for ourselves. When we do that cleansing, you are getting rid of that burden of the day. And third important aspect is the bedtime prayer. Knowingly or unknowingly, the mistakes I have made, I accept, I ask for forgiveness. If you do not ask for forgiveness, that karma doesn't leave you. Sometimes we do things knowingly. That if consequences are there for everything. You cannot escape nature's laws. Like you come into this country, you have to have a green card, you have to have a visa. You go to any country, you have to have minimum visitors visa. Without that, you don't enter. Laws are there. If there are laws on the earth plane, think about consciousness field, divine field. There are laws everywhere. We can fool our fellow beings with our mistakes and propose as like, I am great, I am, and hide under our ego, hide our mistakes under our ego. But we can't fool nature. Laws of karma are very strict. So what is the solution? Do you want to suffer? Solution is taking care of it bit by bit every day. Whatever you realize that you have made. One time for several years, I completely went into my life from the time I was aware as a child and asked for forgiveness from every being that I have interacted with, knowingly or unknowingly, that I have made mistakes. And even recently, I had to ask forgiveness from Daji because I started to suffer vertigo. And then I realized when he was having vertigo, I was not so sensitive to him. I was still expecting him to give me my sitting, give me my attention. And I suffered like anything. So, this bedtime prayer is like a bonus for us. You just sit there, pour your heart out, and truly ask for forgiveness, and you release your consciousness from the burden. So, all these are truths, and the religious religion is like one of those masters who have created a way of life. They have experienced it. So they gave principles, do not throw stones on the fallen sister. For if you throw, it's your sister or brother that's there. Lord Jesus said that, Lord Vivekananda said it. All the masters said the same thing. So what did Babuji give us the technique? He said, until and unless a weakness has left you, you cannot cross regions. The weakness, in our heart's field at point 1, from the center of the sternum going 4 fingers inward, point B is there, and 2 fingers, point A. That is where the heartbeat is also. That is a very powerful point. Point A is. You come to that field and you make the intention, this weakness of complaining has left me for good. I have no attachment to it. The weakness of blaming others, criticizing others, stubbornness. Without becoming flexible, we cannot move. Stubbornness has left me, judgment has left me, and I have no attachment to them, because we have an attachment, a habit of attachment to the negative way of thinking. I am great, others are wrong. Until and unless we practice that, you cannot cross the third point, because loss of vibration, the loss of nature forbid you. Because heart has to, as we go higher and higher, our frequency of our energy flow, the consciousness field flow, has to match the higher frequency. What is the higher frequency? It's a frequency of love. So when you have hatred, you can't flow further. When you have anger, you cannot flow further. When you have greed, you can flow further. When you are hurting others, you can flow further. When you are stuck in complaining, criticizing, blaming, judging, stubbornness, you can't flow. It's a blockage right there. You are creating your own blocks. Bedtime prayer helps you. Evening cleansing helps you. Most importantly, meditating with transmission helps you from the guide, and getting one-on-one individual sittings from preceptors, the trainers who are able to transmit and release this for you, will help you. So the method is designed to help individuals to master themselves, not to become slaves. You master yourself as a human being in this earth. The transformation you see is you become balanced, you are emotionally stable. You are able to love. You have no fear. The entire world is. Yesterday, my friend visited me, and the whole time she was talking about health insurance and how. And I was looking as like, I never thought about that. Why? There is no fear. If it is supposed to happen, if it is in your baggage, in your karma field, you can't escape it. If it is not in your karma field, you can't suffer it. And here you are working on yourself day after day after day. So your suffering is naturally less. In the beginning, it feels like it's not ending, but there comes a point there is no more. That is why Babaji was able to make that great statement that sages prayed for suffering because they don't have sufferings anymore. So this is the journey. This is why we are meditating. With meditation, we master the mind, bring the mind to the heart's silence, expand that silence moment by moment, where the ability of awareness of the mind increases. Your ability to love, your ability for compassion increases. And then life becomes a joyful journey. So, try to cover as much as possible the gist of it, so all of us can take the practice seriously and focus on transforming ourselves, forget about other people. In this process, as we go further, ego becomes a very big barrier for us. And that is why Daji taught us humbleness. And that we experience at the fourth point, where the water point, where you realize there are so many beings that did this journey. There are so many great people When you really look at everybody, you are really nothing. You're very small, a speck, a small speck. And when that realization happens, that you are a small speck in this vast universe, then humility manifests inside you, and that makes the journey easy. In the further realms, further vibratory fields, dimensions, the doors in the earth, the door is like this, and then when you go further, it comes down, it comes down, comes down. It becomes so narrow, only one can travel. What does that mean? You become so humble, almost nullified, only he carries you further. Those are all states of evolution, states of beings. But that doesn't make you small, that makes you confident because somebody is holding your hand. So, this is my brief sharing of thoughts. You all, anybody wants to ask a question or has any query, or if this is sufficient, we can stop, or if you are welcome to ask. Thank you, Columbus Center, for the opportunity to be here with all of you today and present. I don't think I covered everything, but at least tried to cover as much as possible. There are several techniques you could, next time when we meet, especially the cleansing techniques of fear detox and anger detox, are very powerful techniques. We can probably work on them next time. If anybody has any questions, you are welcome to unmute and ask.
Thank you, Sister Uma, for the wonderful session. So anybody can unmute themselves and ask the question, or feel free to type in. Okay. Needs help to unmute. Okay.
You can unmute, I mean, you are allowed to.
So, my sister, this is Tangam from Columbus.
Oh, hi, sister.
Yes, thank you so much for doing this. I did have actually one question actually of your an anger detox techniques. I know it's available on like Facebook and YouTube. Is there a version without the ads?
I will send the Google link to Shakti and he can forward it to you all.
Thank you.
All right. So it looks like Shakti, there's no more questions. So go ahead, Suma.
Thank you so much, sister. We really appreciate it. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see you here in Columbus. We're hoping to have you in the next couple of months. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Yes, Sister Suma rightly said, we consider this as a part 1. So part 2, we will try to meet in person. Mostly March is the month likely, because where it'll be easy to travel for all of us. So definitely we'll consider this as a part 1, Sister Uma.
You're okay.
If there are no further questions, yeah, somebody wants.
Hi, Uma. I'm Shailaja from Columbus Center. Thank you for your wonderful session. Yeah. We are very grateful to have you as our guide. For that, we are very fortunate. I have a question like, sometimes we do disturb a lot from job or from the family things, right?
Yes.
So like very especially like if you have more hurt, if you do one time cleaning, it doesn't help us. So if you after cleaning right away, one time cleaning right away, I can't do the meditation also. So if you like to get into balanced state, like to get rid of that pain or anger, what do you suggest? Like if I
Get a
tried like
sitting from a preceptor. See, you should get a sitting from a preceptor at the time.
okay,
If you are unable to go physically, we have the Heartfulness app, and you can try that. See, a hurt is a vibratory block, right? I mean,
yeah, correct.
so what happens is it's not that they're doing miracle or they. Sometimes when we talk, it releases because talk is a way of releasing the vibration. Sometimes when we cry, it releases. Crying is a way of releasing the vibration. Cleaning from a preceptor is another way of release where the transmission flows, and with that intention when they are releasing it, and it's like a calming balm on your heart. They may not solve your problem for you, but temporarily for that being you come to a state of balance. So always a sitting helps. How many sittings should I take? As many as you need. If your preceptors can give you sittings. I tell everybody, even to my children, the Heartfulness app gives you 3 sittings a week. Use it because it is transmission. If you don't even have energy, sit in the bed and say, Master, I am so tired. I'm unable to sit and meditate. Please allow this transmission to flow into me. Sleep. Somebody is working on you. Because it is the prana that's fixing your inner field. Allow somebody to fix it for you. And there are so many preceptors that are willing to give sittings. But we block ourselves. Oh, this person is that person is this. We complain, blame, and we block the help that we are getting. Don't, even if they hate you, they can't do anything to you. What can they do to you? Even if they don't agree with you, they can't do anything to you, the preceptors. They can only transmit and clean. Because the moment the work only begins if they connect their consciousness to the guide's consciousness. Once I have given the driving wheel to the guide's consciousness, I don't steer it anymore. It's his presence steers, and his presence doesn't make any mistakes. His presence does what is best for individual soul. So take sittings from the preceptors, take sittings from the app, cleansing techniques, practice them as much as possible. Even the one that Tangam just asked, it's guided cleansing. And a lot of time, when I went to India once, somebody was talking about it, and I just did it in a class and I forgot about it. And one morning, I myself was so disturbed. It was in the morning. I said, everybody is talking about this cleaning video. Let me put it on. So I put my own video on. I closed my eyes because I'm not looking at myself. It was a voice guiding. And I was completely, by the end of it, my complete pure condition restored. Because it is a vibration guiding me what to do next. And I was able to follow through and arrive at the state of being. So arriving at that state of balance is absolute need for all of us. So whatever help we can get, we should take it.
Yeah, thank you, Uma,
Thank
Uma sister.
thank you.
Yeah. Even I follow that anger and fear detox only whenever I was whenever I have too much angry or whenever I have more fear. Yeah, I'm following it. Yeah, thank you for your suggestion. And one more thing is like I'm very bad at maintaining the timing, like especially only for the 6 a.m. meditation in the morning. So what I do is when my kids leave the home and went to school, I start the meditation at 8 a.m.
That's fine.
From 8 to 8:30. Later I start my work. Is there any difference between the 6 a.m. meditation and say 8 a.m. meditation? Because I felt a lot of time if I know the answer, but I'm not able to do.
It's okay.
So
As
6
long as
a.m.
you are
meditation,
able
8
to do
a.m.
at
I'm
any
doing
time.
it. 6 a.m. means from the day I start, I'm not disturbing because I started it from 6 a.m. Like any
There is no
difference
room
would be
for
there
guilt in
in
heartfulness.
transmission.
There is no room for guilt in heartfulness. You don't try to feel guilty. The practice is not supposed to make you feel guilty. I am not doing this. I am not doing that. The practice is supposed to help you.
Yeah.
So that is why the masters give so much leeway. They said if you can do it before sunrise, it is good. If not, at least do some time when my children were young, I used to do 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And I used to do
Yeah.
cleaning first thing in the morning because in the night I'm so tired I could not. But eventually it will lead you to that discipline. When you keep doing it when you can to the best of your capacity, the system works in such a way there will be one fine moment you start to meditate before sunrise. Because why? Before sunrise, meditation is easy because what affects the thought is the heat from the nature. Because the entire creation started with that. The desire started with that power of the heat. So, thought flow is easy before the sunrise. It is like us protecting our skins. We don't want skin cancer. So, we don't expose too much. So, it's like that. That process is facilitated better before sunrise. But if you don't have a choice, it is okay, I cannot meditate. So instead of not doing it, it is better you do it sometime regularly at the same time. Say, next step is same time. If it's 10 a.m., 10 a.m. every day. If it's 12 noon, 12 noon every day. But doing it is important. And that doing regularly at whatever time will eventually make you realize and you will start doing it exactly when you are supposed to. It may take years, but it doesn't matter.
Thank you, sister. And also, my one more question is like, before meditation, I used to practice the like pujas and all. We do the pujas and all. Once after starting the meditation, what I felt is like I feel very balanced and I am getting more peace through the meditation, and I am solving the issues and all on my own. But I never left the puja also. My kids will continue because they are not doing meditation, so I want them to be in one spiritual way, so they are not ready to do the meditation, so I'm making them to do the puja every day. What, like, in some of the videos I saw, like, they are they're telling like the puja in negative way, like not totally
Not
negative way,
negative.
not negative way. So
What is your goal?
like,
Anything we do is based on the purpose and the goal that we want to arrive at.
yeah, correct.
If I want to achieve that ultimate state, the way I have to do it is through the heart. By doing a physical act of putting a flower, my mind will not be diverted towards divinity and my mind will not arrive at the state of being of that love. This is just a physical act of doing an external thing that will not lead me into anything. But we are teaching our children some foundations, some basics, some good habits, you know, like speak the truth. We are telling our children. But some robber is coming and trying to attack them. And will the child have to speak the truth at the time? The child should have the wisdom to manage herself. A physical forced habit cannot give you that sense of right direction in life. You have to train them the right way from the very beginning. So in heartfulness, we give them do the relaxation, do the breathing, just rest in the heart for the children. And yes, when they go to a temple, yeah, they worship because divinity is everywhere. But we cannot limit it to the stones. But the thing is, understanding, if we have the correct understanding of it, we neither say yes nor say no. Because in the Vedas, there was no temple worship. In the Upanishads, there was no temple worship. I showed you the first Upanishads itself, where Veda, the very origin of the Veda, says, look within to find what is and what is not. They did not say, go look at the temple, worship the temple, and be stuck with the temple. So you feel guilty if you don't worship the temple. They did not say that. They said, look within. Temple worship came later on when the sages who had to transmit this prana were not able to travel and their disciples were further away, the teachers would travel to city in those days. What they did was, it's like us putting funds for our children in college so they can withdraw the money. So you put $50,000 and he has used all $50,000 and the bank account is empty. What is the child drawing now? Nothing. So also the sages transmitted the prana into a stone and an idol and charged it and said, you come here and meditate and every day you withdraw. When that withdrawal, there is nobody to recharge it again, that is just a stone. That is why in the Hindu temple worship, it is called prana pratishta. Prana is infused into that stone. That becomes alive now, and the purpose of that stone is to transmit that vibration. So your inner consciousness can recognize the divinity within you. But if that is not serving the purpose and we are just attached to the stone or a ritual, then you have to evaluate our own goal. What is the goal? So it is neither wrong nor not wrong. It is for each individual to ask themselves whether it is the idol of Lord Krishna or Lord Jesus, because the masters themselves are meditating. That is why Daji always gives this example. You see Shiva meditating. You see Lord Krishna meditation. What are they meditating on? They are not meditating on the idol of the other masters. They are meditating on the absolute, the ultimate source within themselves. That is the goal. So when your goal is clear, and when the master who can transmit to you exists on the earth plane, and when you are receiving it, there is no need. But it doesn't mean that you insult anything. Because everybody has to pass through this school system, right? From kindergarten to first grade to third grade to fourth grade. Somebody in 10th grade and say, oh, you are doing kindergarten, you are learning alphabets. You don't do that. It is a process of evolution. But you don't be stuck in kindergarten and still continue to write alphabets. When you are a spiritual preceptor or a trainer or an abhyasi, have been in the path for 20 years, if you're still stuck in temple worship and thinking that is important, then you're stuck in kindergarten level of thinking. That means there's something. See, any technique in heartfulness, if you are practicing it correctly, you have to see transformation. When I'm working on myself, this intention that this weakness of complaining has left me for good. I have no attachment to it. After 6 months, I have to evaluate. Have I changed? If I didn't change that, then that technique is useless. So, if we are practicing correctly, it should resonate in our values. It should resonate. By temple worship, if transformation has to happen, I would become a humbler being. I would become more calm, compassionate being. Yes. Because path is vast. Everything is accepted. What is your goal? Ask your own heart.
Thank you, sister. Yeah, I don't want to leave the rituals like doing puja. Whenever there is a conflict arises, I'm not able to answer others. But I feel like what are the benefits I got from meditation? So I'm doing both.
Yeah, that
And
is
I
fine. There is
can,
nothing wrong, Amma.
yeah,
There is nothing, no need to feel guilty. But know the truth in your heart, so you feel at peace. So
yeah,
when somebody
correct.
asks, you can let them know.
Yeah,
Yeah, children, of course, we teach them. We are teaching them Bhagavad Gita in Kana. We're teaching them the fundamentals. So at the same time, we are teaching them relaxation and meditation. So when that happens, when the mind is clear, just like how we understood the essence of Bhagavad Gita now, when I gave the presentation, they will also understand. And when they understand, they live the life correctly. Because you're not going to be there babysitting them forever. So that is why we are trying to teach them. There's nothing wrong in that.
yeah, correct. Thank you. Thank you, Uma, sister.
Hi, sister. Ganapati here, sister. I wanted to thank you, sister. Thanks a lot. During the Corona time, the afternoon sitting that you gave was really helpful because I was alone at the home the whole year. Also wanted to request, is there such a program happening, sister, at the noon time?
We have corporate sittings through the Heartfulness Dayton. Mondays 12:30 to 1, Wednesdays 3:30 to 4, Friday 11:30 to noon, and Wednesday 7:30 to 8 p.m. There's 4 corporate sittings continuously go on throughout the year. It starts January 6th, that is tomorrow, and goes until December 20th. Some of our trainers are offering that. If you go to daytonheartfulness.org website and go to corporate, the links are available. And also, I give 2 sessions, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. on Zoom, which is literature reading and meditation. So half an hour we read a book and half an hour we meditate. And then also on Facebook, Dayton Heartfulness Facebook, Monday and Wednesday, we give 12 to 12:45. We read a whisper for 10 minutes and do a sitting for half an hour. Those are all the online available. So if you go to daytonheartfulness.org website, all that information is there.
Yeah, thank you, sister. And sorry to ask, I have one more question, sister. Maybe you might be explained, but wanted to discuss, sister. During the fear detox, you
I
especially.
can't hear you. Can you speak a little louder?
Oh, sorry, sister. One small question you might have explained, but I just wanted to discuss, sister. During the fear detox, you explained about the thoughts or going through the right leg toe. What is the significance of it, sister? Like, why we need to
The
specifically
energy
solve?
fields, right? Energy fields. Like say when you're getting a massage, they press a particular point and you're going, no, it's hurting. And then after some time it releases, right?
Yes.
So also everything in our system is connected, our nervous system, our vascular system, our energy field, our absolute, everything is connected through the heart. And when you look at the nervous system, everything is connected with everything. So same way, in the consciousness field, there is something known as chit lake between 0.7 and 8. It is field where our thoughts are flowing, our karma is flowing. And that flow is descending, and a part of it is descending into 0.1, which is point A field, and it's going out as karma. Okay, the other part is connected to this. The guru diverts that flow to Atma Chakra 0.2. And that is also connected to the tip of the toe. So you want to, when you are having a lot of disturbance in thoughts and all that, at the end of the fear detox, you just focus your mind on the tip of the right toe. That is a vibration. You just feel for a few minutes the thoughts are releasing from that. Usually after that you fall asleep. People at the end of the fear detox, they all realize they're completely refreshed or they've fallen asleep, deep sleep. Because that focusing your mind on the tip of the right toe releases the flow. It is connected. So that's all it is. It is to help you to become calmer.
Okay. Oh, sister, many places you are referring that each cell is also chakras, sister.
That's what Daji said, that everything in our system is an energy field. So when you are cleansing every cell of your being. And when you clean every cell of your being and that being becomes purified and transformed, even your DNA is changing. That is why Babuji said that I am changing the DNA of the human being. How does transformation happen? Like when 2 people get married, this person's DNA, that person's DNA, the child is acquiring the traits of both the parents. So humanity got so deteriorated because of our way of thinking. We clogged the cells and we brought transformation. And the cells are always changing. So with this process, active, dynamic process of meditation, cleansing, the transmission, purifying every cell, the great sages are trying to bring transformation. They're trying to bring a new crop. They're trying to save the seeds, pure seeds, because they're all polluted. That's what they're doing in the higher level, where they're trying to purify every cell and bring transformation. And now, say I die, when I leave, I'm leaving as a better seed. So when I come back, the crop is better. Evolution continues. But if you pollute yourself and you degrade yourself, that seed is not a good seed to come back, right? So you throw away,
Mm.
throw it to the lower dimension.
Okay. And one final question, sister. Is there a practical way that I can evaluate my consciousness expansion? How it got expanded, or how can I practically?
It depends on it shows in your behavior. It
Okay.
shows when something happens, are you able to be balanced? Are you losing your balance and you get disturbed right away? Shows that you haven't mastered first point. You are able to master first point, but something happens, oh, who is this person? Angry. It shows that you are not emotionally stable. So your behavior itself should show you, are you peaceful? You are your own experimenter. You are your own evaluator.
Okay.
The way you are shows, like when Daji speaks, we all feel that love, that such softness in his voice, his radiation. You're pulled towards it. Why is that? Because all the baser qualities are all mastered, so his field is full of love. Our field of love is blocked with these blockages. So that is our own evaluation. We should know.
Okay. That's a lot. Thanks a lot, sister. Looking forward. We wanted to meet you, sister, in Columbus.
Yeah, please, we will meet again.
Thanks.
If there are no further questions, we can conclude. Just before concluding, I would like to share to our Heartfulness seekers in Columbus. We can always travel to Dayton, which is like 1 hour from here, for our master's birthday celebrations or any special events that they conduct. So it'll be a wonderful experience for us to go and meet there and have a satsang at our own ashram. There are plans to expand the ashram there. So we can join our hands together and contribute whatever way we can. We can get to know more details once we meet in person, or we can go to Dayton. So I just wanted to inform that before we conclude. I would like to thank Sister Uma again for a wonderful satsang to start our new year for our center, and joy and complete happiness for all of us. Thank you.
See you all later. Bye-bye now. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you, sister. Thank you all.